Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited that you are here today to another presentation, another Zoom, another Living Well presentation. I'm glad that you joined us. Today, like usual, I want to first state our disclaimer. So our presentation here today is for educational purposes. I will encourage anyone if they have any concerns, any questions that they might need to change their lifestyle, always consult with your physician. So the information we're going to present is for educational purposes. Usually our material is from research that we have done, also from life experiences and from biblical standpoint. So today we have a very important guest here today, Michelle Blackwood. I want to just give you a synopsis about her life, who she is. I know she has a very long, extensive bio, but I just want to tell you that Michelle is a graduate nurse from NUC. I think that is North Caribbean University, and also the Montfort University. She's an expert in creating a plant-based diet, juicing, and also gluten-free recipes. As a matter of fact, she has about three cookbooks out that you can go online and purchase. She has her own website and she does daily blogs. And also she is about to do a 5 days juice fasting cleanse that I would encourage you that you get on board and try this juice fast because your life will be changed. So I want to welcome Michelle to our presentation, to our program today. And Michelle, I turn it over to you. Her topic is going to be tackling obesity and insulin resistance with juicing. Looking forward to hear your presentation.
Thank you so much, Sister Emmeline, and thank you, my dear Sister Jennifer, for, inviting me or just having me on your platform. Thank you, everyone who has taken time out from your rest or whatever you were doing here. I am so happy that you're here, and I would love for you to show me some love in the comments. I want your feedback, for it to be interactive. I'm open for questioning at the end, like the last 10 minutes. So we're going to get started and tackling obesity and insulin resistance. This topic is dear to my heart because after I had my son, I was like 38 years old. And after that, it's been such a battle for me to lose weight. I'm like that yo-yo struggled. And over the years, I got to narrow it down because to me, I've been eating plant-based for 27 years. So you would look at me and like, why are you overweight then? And for me, it was insulin resistance. It was whatever stress that I'm going in my life. So I'm going to bring out to you that you may be struggling with some of these issues. Maybe you can identify what I've been through and what I've found to really help me to lose some weight, to move the scale, and to feel healthier in my body was doing juice fast, do periodical juice fast. And for me, I was so excited when I discovered it because I would eat and I would still gain weight and I will reduce the amount that I eat and I feel like I'm starving, but I had to shift things around. And this is what I'm here to introduce to you. And you're probably already familiar with it, but we're just going to delve a little bit in it. And this quote by Ellen G. White says, "Intemperate eating is often the cause of sickness. And what nature," I think let's minimize this, "and what nature most needs is to be relieved of the undue burden that has been placed upon her. In many cases of sickness, the very best remedy is for the patient to fast for a meal or two, that the overworked organs of digestion have an opportunity to rest. A fruit diet for a few days has often brought great relief to brain workers. Many times, a short period of entire abstinence from food, followed by simple, moderate eating, has led to recovery through nature's own recuperative effort. An abstemious diet or abstemious diet for a month or two would convince many sufferers that the path of self-denial is the path to health. Did you hear that? The path of self-denial is the path to health. And that's in Ministry of Healing, page 235. Thank you, Belinda, for providing that quote. I asked her, I told her it's there, and she put it together for me so fast. Thank you. So one of the biggest challenges many of us face today is obesity and insulin resistance. These issues are deeply connected, and I believe juicing can play a powerful role in helping us break free from these health struggles. Many people feel like they've failed when it comes to managing their weight or health, but I want you to know it is not your fault. There is a better way, and it starts with giving your body the nutrient it truly needs. And this is just to say that a lot of times people are malnourished. They're eating 3 meals a day, but yet still they are malnourished because they're not putting in the right food, and they're not putting food of value. It is macronutrients, especially high carbs, that is refined and processed, and it's not giving the body the substance that it needs for healing and repairing. So we're going to talk a little bit about insulin. Start by, what is insulin? So insulin is a vital hormone that is produced by the pancreas, and it plays a key role in regulating the body's energy by helping move the glucose. So when you eat, or say when you eat the starch, it breaks down into glucose, and the glucose now needs to be transported to the cells. And that's where the pancreas releases insulin to help it go into the cell. And the main fuel from the food that goes into this, that now goes into the glucose, it goes into the muscles, it goes into the fat stores, and it goes into liver. And there it is stored and used for energy. Okay? But obesity is not just about overeating or lack of willpower. It's a hormonal issue closely tied to insulin. So most people, they're struggling with their weight and they are insulin resistant. So when your body comes resistant to this insulin, that means the insulin comes, the cells are not absorbing it, it becomes what you call resistance. And now all the sugar is in the bloodstream. And I want to point out, and I might be going ahead of myself, that only 1 teaspoon of sugar needs to be circulating in the bloodstream at any given moment. So what that says, if it's more, the body goes into overdrive to produce more insulin to get it into the cells. And it's overproducing this insulin, and people become insulin resistant. And this is what leads to prediabetes and even type 2 diabetes. Improving your diet is one of the biggest payoff in increasing your insulin sensitivity, that uptake and that use of that glucose in the body. If you change diet a lot of times and give the body the tools it needs, lower the amount of sugar or blood glucose, your blood glucose level by the foods that you're eating, you'll find that your body will, your insulin sensitivity will increase. So juicing can help you, because what juicing will do, it will flood that body with the nutrient it craves. And it won't overwhelm it, because it's giving the body, the digestive tract, rest. And it doesn't have to process all this sugar that's spiking the glucose levels. And another thing with with sugar, sugar is so addictive. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So sugar is worse than cocaine, if you think about it. And a lot of us, if we do try to come off that sugar, will find that our body literally, like we've been controlled to go get more sugar. So if you eat a lot of breads and pasta, on white rice, and you eat baked goods a lot and all these sugary stuff, those puddings and cakes, you'll find you decide, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cut all this sugar, this soda, these sugary drinks, and I'm going to take a break from it. You will find that your body, that addiction is real, like you're being forced, that those food cravings will increase almost tenfold. And until you get it under control, then you're on a yo-yo pattern. Spikes, drop. And when your blood glucose level drops, it drops really low because it went up so fast. Then when it dropped, usually the person ends up with depression. So it's all related because you feel so bad and you're depressed. So the right juices can actually help you to stabilize your blood glucose level and reduce your need for the body to pump out this excess insulin. So it occurs when the body cells stop responding. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So as a result, the glucose cannot enter the cells effectively, and that leads to the spike. And to compensate for that, the pancreas produces more insulin. As your insulin levels, worsen, that's when people get hyperglycemia at first, then pre-diabetes, then it goes on to type 2 diabetes. And eventually, if it doesn't get checked, it gets worse and worse. So here are some of the risk factors of insulin resistance. Excessive body fat, especially around the stomach. And that area is where there's that visceral fat, that brown fat that is hard to lose because the body just stores it. It stores it in your liver too. People get fatty liver disease, and it's all related back to that high glucose levels, the processed food that people are eating, refined carbohydrates, high sugar intake, lack of activities, the smoking, and high blood pressure. They're all connected. Sleep disorders like sleep apnea, and if people are under chronic stress, because under chronic stress, your body is releasing the hormone that keeps you in fight and flight mode constantly, So medications too, and a lot of people don't realize, and they're on so many medications that are putting their body into insulin resistance. And it's like your oral contraceptives, immunosuppressants. People are doing like chemo treatments, or they had transplant surgeries. People are on steroids. Sometimes you see them with that moon face and all that. They end up with even sometimes eye drops that people take could lead to them becoming diabetic. Beta blockers, antipsychotics, statins that are used for lowering cholesterol. And a lot of people are on high blood pressure medication. A lot of them will end up causing insulin resistance in the body. Additionally, there are people from certain racial and ethnic backgrounds, like people who are Asian Americans, not Asians in Asia, but the ones when they come to America, a lot of them take on the American diet, the sad American diet, and also African Americans, Latinos, indigenous people in Alaska, because they eat a high fat diet, they eat little fruits and vegetables, and they take on insulin resistance. Indigenous people from the continental United States, and the indigenous people who are in like the Pacific Islands. And in those islands, they're known to eat a lot of canned foods and very little fresh fruits and vegetables. They eat a lot of spam, and the diabetes rate is so high in those countries because of the diet. And I believe all of this is linked to poor diet. And here are some of the symptoms: increased thirst, blurred vision, the healing of cuts will be slowed down. They're always hungry. It puts you on this constant roller coaster. As you eat the empty calories, doesn't last you, it doesn't satisfy you, and you go back to eating more again. When you drink green juice, you will find that you feel satisfied, your cravings will go, and it's amazing that green, especially those leafy greens, those bitter greens, they cut your appetite, and you'll find that you'll get the time to stay away. You know, you're in a fasting mode, so you're taking a break from food and you're retraining your body. The headaches that a lot of people suffer with, frequent urination, and also skin infections and vaginal infections, all that is a lot of time is due to insulin resistance. Can insulin resistance be treated? Yes, it can be managed with lifestyle changes. Healthy diet, physical activity, weight loss, losing weight, eating healthy, getting up and moving. And here in the USA, and I think it's actually more than 50% of the adults here have diabetes or pre-diabetes. That's around 120 million people. And the scary part is that many people, they don't even know that they have it, they are insulin resistant until it's too late. However, juicing is a powerful way or powerful tool to help to prevent insulin resistance. In fact, around 16 to 25% of people with normal weight are also insulin resistant, which means juicing is actually for everyone, no matter where you are on your health journey. So when your body is resistant to insulin, it's now holding on to the body fat, and it also makes you feel hungry, and it keeps you on that cycle of always craving food. Like you eat, and an hour later, you're hungry again. And so many people struggle to lose weight. And even when they're doing their best, they're trying their best, they still struggle because they're not getting into the root cause, and they're not digging deep enough to see what's happening in their body and how they could help. So the good news is juicing can really help you to break that cycle. The juices that are packed with low sugar fruits, leafy greens, they provide a burst of nutrients, and they help to keep your blood sugar stable. And this in return will help to reduce your cravings and give your body the energy it needs to thrive without storing fat. So what is juicing? And juicing is simple. It's just a process of you extracting the liquid from the fruits and the vegetables, and you're going to remove the pulp. And I know a lot of people go crazy because they love fiber so much. But honestly, you only need about 30 grams of fiber a day. So at one sitting, at one serving, most of us, when we eat one serving, especially if you eat, like, say, beans and say quinoa or brown rice, you are getting, and your salad, you are getting more than enough fiber in a day. Fiber is good. I am not saying fiber is bad. It's good because it cleans out the colon, it pulls the fat with it. It is good. But when you are juicing, you are giving your body that tune up that the body needs. You have been probably for years, you're feeling run down, you're feeling pain, you have inflammation going on in your body. Your body is sending signals that what you're doing is not working. You're taking the medications and it's not working. You're on a path that's not working, and the body is saying, slow down, take a break away from what your normal routine, and give your body the VIP treatment that it needs, a tune-up. So you're going to go on the juices and you're going to do it, but it doesn't have to be long-term. It's up to you how long you do it. So even if it's 1 to 3 days, your body will enjoy the copious amount of nutrients, because when you juice now, you are concentrating the nutrients, and it goes directly in the bloodstream. It start working on the body, and it start healing and repairing the body. And a lot of people will say, oh, I take my vitamins every day. Some of the times you really need to check and do some research on your vitamins. Are they food-based? Are they coal tar? Are they made from stuff that are not digestible by the body? It goes in, it creates more problem in the system. Do you know even where these are coming from? Is it animal feathers? Is it from the soil? I mean, some metal from the soil. What are you taking in your body? And so juicing will give your body the nutrients, the macronutrients, micronutrients that your body needs, but it's flooding in it. Because when you juice, you say, okay, and I know I'm going ahead of myself. I'm going to do smoothie, but it has the fiber. But that fiber, how much juice or how much smoothie can you drink that will compensate for that juice? You can literally juice 5 pounds or say a pound of vegetable. And you're not going to sit at one sitting probably and eat that. Nor when you blend up that smooth with all that roughage, you're not going to enjoy it and you're not going to drink it all down. But with juice, you're getting that concentrated nutrient. So it has its place. So what we eat has direct impact on our insulin levels. Carbohydrates, especially the processed one, causes our blood sugars and our insulin levels to spike. But with juicing, we're focusing now on the low glycemic, nutrient-rich vegetables and fruits, and they nourish our body without triggering those spikes. And so how you do juice for insulin resistance? What you do is you're choosing your leafy greens, so like your herbs and the low glycemic vegetables. So you can focus on like your cucumbers, your celery, your kale, your spinach, and to that you can add one fruit. And remember, there's no fiber. That's like the only minute amount of fiber that's going to cause fermentation, slow down digestion. It's not going to be sitting in your stomach for 6 hours. In the 15 to 20 minutes, it's gone through your system and in your bloodstream and doing the work. So you could add like green apples, you could add like lemon and the berries. Those are low sugar fruits. You can also add your ginger and your turmeric because they're anti-inflammatory and they will help to stabilize the blood glucose. So you can play around with combination and see what really suits your taste bud. And you could start with whatever vegetables. You could do your spinach, your romaine lettuce. You could do your herbs like your cilantro and mint, and just play around with them, parsley, and play around with them and come up with combination that really will help your body to heal. Some of them will remove heavy metals from your body. Some of them are just so nourishing and healing that you will find over time doing it that you're healing, you're having more energy, the inflammation is being reduced in your body. Studies and real-life experience show that juicing works by reducing your carbohydrate load and providing your body with clean, easy-to-absorb nutrients. Juicing helps to lower insulin levels, improve metabolism, and support weight loss. It's sustainable, it's enjoyable as well, and it can prevent long-term complications, heart disease, and diabetes. And here's some of the objections, and I think I went over with the smoothies. There's only so much like you could drink with a smoothie. It has its place. I'm not knocking it because you can do both. You could do smoothie and you could juice at different times. You could say you start with a smoothie in the morning, then you do juice, and then you could then probably way before sunset, you then do a small meal. It's up to you. You can do different plans. You can mix and match it, or you can do all for 1 to 3 days. It's up to you. Isn't juicing expensive? Juicing doesn't have to be expensive. You can focus now on affordable, like seasonal produce. You can grow your own. You can shop at local farmers markets. You can join the CSA. You can do those community gardens. There's so many ways around it. And they're for people who know there's some stuff like dandelion, they may grow wild in your area. You can, once it's not sprayed with pesticide, you can even go outside and probably there's something around in your yard that's safe and healthy that you can juice, add to your juice regime. Your tree, moringa, a little bit of it, all those. There's so many leaves out there too that are healthy that you would be amazed that you could add. It sounds so time consuming. It's not. If you do what they call batch juicing and you store your juice properly, you can actually juice. It will last 1 to 3 days, depending on the kind of juicer you have. So most people, if you want it to last longer, you can freeze the juice. So there's really no excuse. So some people say, well, I heard that fruit juices are full of sugar and bad for your blood sugar. Well, I want to say that with cold press, freshly pressed juice with enzymes and everything, it's totally different from juice that's made with added sugar. Remember, we said sugar, the added one, but it's processed sugar, is highly addictive. It goes in the body and it responds differently from natural sugar. However, because we're dealing with insulin resistance, because we have an issue that we're trying to sort out in our bodies, we are going to give the body the low sugar, high vegetables juices. And those will spike your blood glucose levels and they will heal. So the key to overcoming obesity and insulin resistance isn't just cutting calories or trying harder. It's about giving your body the tools that it needs to heal naturally. Juicing just one of them, that's one of the most effective, and it's nourishing on the body, helps to balance your hormones. It reduces insulin resistance and it helps you to achieve better health. So let's get back to real, natural, nutrient-dense foods and take control of our health through the power of juicing. And thank you so much for joining me today. Your health journey starts now. And I also want to say, don't forget the other 8 laws of health. So we just dealt with nutrition. There's also exercise, water, sunlight, trust in God, air, rest, and temperance. So it's all, but this one is such a key. I can go on more and more, but I think I've covered everything in this. If there's any question, please be sure to ask them here. And I can stop sharing. Okay, thank you. You're muted.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was so powerful. You said something about eating that people are eating but still malnourished. And you might be surprised, a place like the United States where food is so ubiquitous. Every corner you turn, there is a restaurant, there is food available. But still, that is really sad. But still, we are malnourished because it's the type of food, is what we are eating that is not food, that is not nourishing to the body, that's causing the problem. We're eating dead food, really.
Dead food.
And yes, dead food and not food that's alive. So food that's alive is food that comes from the garden, the green leafy vegetables. As our parents or mothers especially tell us, you need to eat your fruits and vegetables, eat your fruits and vegetables. And that is so important. Last week I was at a camp and there was a gentleman doing testing for free radicals. Never had this test done, testing for free radicals. And basically what it is, free radical, antioxidants, takes place, oxidation, I should say, takes place in our bodies every day. It's a natural process. But if we have the right ammunition, it will decrease the onslaught that takes place on our cells, on our DNA, if we put the right things in. So he was doing this test, and I went over to check and see really what my free radical is. A free radical damage to your cells is dangerous, and that's what causes inflammation and diseases. And so when he saw my results, he said to me, "Do you eat fruits and vegetables?" I said, "Yes, I try to get my, fruits and vegetables in every day." And he said, "Well, that's why your result is so high. Keep it up." And he said, "If you can do more, do more." So
Wonderful.
God gave us the tools for us to use so that we can keep our bodies healthy. Eating fruits and vegetables is the key. The other stuff, like the rice and all the other stuff that we eat, things in a box, those things are not really, we should eat a lot of, a small amounts. So
Absolutely.
thanks for sharing that, Michelle.
Sure.
I will open up to the audience now. Anyone have a question that they would like to ask our expert, Michelle? Go right ahead.
I forgot to even show my contact information.
Yes,
Yeah.
at the end you'll be able to do that. Okay, I'm looking for any, there's no question in the chat. I know, I have a question for you, Michelle, about juicing. I know they always say when you juice, it's best to drink your juice right away because when you leave it for over a period of time, the enzymes themselves, can be damaged. So is there a technique in storing your juice after juicing it so it can preserve the oxidation of your enzymes?
That's a very good question. Nowadays, they have juicers that they call cold press juicers. And those juicers, they are meant because they've tested it that after day 3, there's still enough nutrients. There's not that much oxidation where you can still get viable nutrients from it. So they have what you call centrifugal. So the one I'm talking about, the cold press juicer, is a masticating juicer. So it juices, it's fast, but it doesn't heat up the juice. And juice has enzymes, and enzymes are protein. And the machines that heat up those masticating juicers usually are the lower budget ones. They heat up the juice, so they destroy the natural enzymes. And enzymes are protein, and protein cannot take high temperatures. However, cold press juicers now, they keep them. So if you notice, if you go in the supermarket and you see that cold press juice, you can usually tell them because there is some separation in the bottle. Those are the cold pressed juices, and they will sit on the shelf sometimes 4 days because they've tested it and they realize that it doesn't lose because it wasn't heated. So 3 days is pretty good. And then for longer storage, even when they test the ones that if you juice, freeze, like I put mine in a mason jar, those glass jars, and I just leave a space like an inch at the top, and I put it directly in the freezer. Yes, it might you lose a little nutrients, but not enough for you not to get the benefit. So nowadays, juicing that I did with my champion juicer 20 odd years ago, it's a totally different kind of juicing now. People are getting the benefits, they're getting results, and they're feeling good. And a lot of people like myself, I juice daily. It's now become a part of my lifestyle because if I don't, I feel the difference.
Okay, thank you. I have a champion, so I need to get one of those centrifuge juices. So can you give us some recommendation of juices? You have any recommendation?
There are many. If you go, say, online and when you're searching later, you can just look for masticating juicer. Yeah, and
Okay.
different price points. So it all depends on your budget. I have a juicer that is a high-end juicer, but the reason why I love it is because I had one that was high-end, but it was a lot of work. It's those twin gear juicers that they are very good with vegetables, but you had to cut them up small, and then you had to really push them down in the chute. So I now own
That's
one.
ours.
Drop. It's hard. It's hard. And now I have one, you can put the whole apple, you can just drop the stuff in and close it. And if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see me juicing. I just throw them in and go. So I wasn't even looking at the cost. I was more looking at the ease of use. I wanted something that would motivate me to juice every day. Because I have the other one, it was like a Green Star or Omega. I used it 2 times and it's parked on the shelf because it was hard. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this every day. I see iPhone Acerola. She wants to come in. You can go ahead and share your experience, I guess. She's laughing. She can identify with me. Yes.
Actually, no, I didn't have an experience.
I tuned in a little late, so I was wondering, how long have you been juicing, and how long did it take for you to feel the actual effects of juicing?
That's a very good question. So on January 1st, I got a phone call, and I was getting the phone call overnight, but I was sleeping. So I finally woke up around 7, and I realized that I'm missing these calls. And I was from Jamaica, and I said, wow, that's where I was born and raised. And I said, I know this is bad news. And I called them back, and it was my brother had just died overnight. And the shock of, because he died suddenly, and we had just spoken the Thursday before. And the shock of him dying wasn't the fact that I don't believe. I know that death is a must, and I believe in, immortal, the state of the dead. So I believe and know that. But it was the shock that he was such an integral part of my business. And I was like, how am I going to navigate this new terrain with my business? Because he had built my website, and he had it where I don't touch anything that's technical on my website. So if you know anything about a website, one of the hardest things is now, how do I build a powerful website like I had? How do I rebuild that? How do I navigate that? And I was like, wow, this is going to send me into a tailspin. And I don't understand how I'm going to navigate it, because he died not giving me passwords, not giving me how to access stuff. And how am I going to navigate this? So I lost my appetite, and I said, Michelle, you're going to need divine intervention right now. God is going to have to step in, because now I have to go bury him. Now I have to go figure out the website. And the complaints started coming in right away. People are like, I can't access this on your website. I can't access that on the website. And I got flustered, like, what do I do? And I said, for me to navigate this, I'm going to have to fast. And for me, it's been years that I did these juice fast. And it was years that been years, like I hadn't been on one. And I literally just went on one. And I knew that I need clarity of mind and to get things stabilized. And I did. But once I started doing it, I find I was like, I could think clearly. I was making arrangements to go to Jamaica. I did everything. And I didn't have to focus on food. And I just got things in place with the help of God, naturally. But I found that it was almost like, when God is calling you to do something and pay attention to your health, and you've been ignoring it, and he had to do something to wake me up. And that was the catalyst. And I started just doing them. I started juicing more. I started juicing every day. I went to Jamaica and I juiced when I was there. I came back, I juiced. I just kept juicing. And I was like, wow. And I started feeling the difference. It was pretty fast, because remember, I literally just went to juicing. Mostly, at first it was just juicing only. And then I added back food. And when I added back food, I literally would see a difference. And I'll go back into juicing. And when I implement juicing plus eating, so the plan I'm on now is, because I started implementing intermittent fasting with it. So the plan that I'm on currently, I love to juice and just eat one meal. So I juice, eat one meal, and my mind is clearer. I just clearer. Clearer that before I had brain fog, and I started researching even more. From one thing led me to another. And my friend Belinda and I would spend hours just talking about juicing and detoxing the body. And I realized that a lot of people are ill. They're suffering with chronic disease because they're not getting out the stuff that's in them. I started studying that people have layers and layers of feces that's caked in their colon that needs to literally come out. And when you start juicing, and if you really start implementing juicing, you will have more frequent bowel movements. You'll have bigger bowel fluids, because you're getting rid of the sludge that's in you. And you're finding that whatever used to ail you, the pain, inflammation, the arthritis, the tumors, they will start shrinking. things will start happening that you will know that's the only difference in your body is because of what you do. And I have to go back. When I was 38 and I went to have my son, they decided that I needed to do a C-section, and it was against my will. They did a C-section and they nicked me in 2 places in my bowel. And then they put me in a coma for 5 days, medically induced coma. And after that, they had me sign that I needed to, I'm going out on my own will. But they retracted that. And when I went home, a group of ladies, some of you might know, Iristine Samuels and some of my friends, they came to my house and they juiced because they sent me home to die. And they juiced around the clock. Within 6 weeks, I was back driving. I went back to the hospital. The doctors were shocked. That is me who left the hospital to die. So I seen the power of juicing. So when my brother died, it was natural for me to say, when you're going through your loss, and if a lot of people who are having depression, they suffer from depression, if they will start juicing, they will start seeing how better they feel, how much healing is being done on their body with the juices. Because there's so many things in our food that is connected to causing depression. High fructose corn syrup, the sugars, and all that. We could go on and on and on. This yo-yo with our mind and, so I hope I answered your question. Did I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you're putting dense nutrients in your body. So therefore your cells, your organs, everything, the body knows exactly what to do with it. And that's how healing takes place.
Yes.
Very
Correct.
good, very good. There's a question here. It says, how much should you drink at once? I guess how much juice, when you juice, how much should you drink at once?
That's going to be different for everyone. The main thing is when you juice and you drink that juice, you should not feel hungry right after. So it could be 24 ounces, it could be 16 ounces, it depends on the person. It could be up to 32 ounces. But you drink at that moment, you're satisfied, you drink water in between. You can also drink herbal teas to aid your body in releasing the toxins. Because you have to remember now, you're going to, once you start juicing now, you're going to literally release toxins from your body. So you're going to help the different organs to eliminate, your organs of elimination. You're going to do dry brushing. You're going to, probably some people like to bathe in Epsom salt bath. The magnesium will help relax the body. And also there's things that you will do to help the body. So it really depends on the person.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So can you tell us about your 5 days, I think it's 5 days cleansing class that is coming up?
Yes. So on the 23rd to the 27th of this month, I'm hosting 5-day juice challenge. And for 5 days, we're going to be delving deeper into juicing day by day. And we'll spend like the first 2 days going really deep. There are people who are already juicing, so they can start right away. But for the new beginners, I'll spend especially the first 2 days delving into the benefits of juicing, why juicing. I'll be facilitating like question depending on which level you're in. And so I'll be doing that, and we'll actually be juicing. On days I'll go in the kitchen, juice with you, and literally we'll be there to just support each other, because what you'll find when you're juicing, you're going to hit points where you need that motivation. You need somebody to say, you can do it. Keep going, keep going. And you're going to need more
Just tell her to turn it into.
somehow you'll find that that's the time more than any time that you're going to need that distraction from your, because all of a sudden now the temptation will come to eat, and you getting distracted will help being involved in a support group or a system like that. So yes, I will be happy for you guys to join me. I can share the link if I figure out how to share it in the chat. So give me a second and I can share the link with you. Okay. Yes, I shared the link. And so that's for 5 days. And I also, but I think, let me show you if I can share it again. I need to, that's funny. Okay, I think I was trying to share. Okay. Okay, I can share if you want to see. So here my contact information. My email is healthiersteps@gmail.com. My phone number if you want to talk to me. And also I have a Facebook group. It's called Healthier Steps Juice Cleanse Support. You can look that up and join the group as well, where I share information there daily. And I also shared you the link for the channel. I think that's it. Okay, that's it. And if you have any questions, you can open your mic and go ahead and ask me if you have any more questions.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I see that someone asked, how much should you drink at once? But my
Okay.
question would be similar. How much is too much to drink in a day? So is it just like meal replacements, or like when you do meals, often you hear 6 small meals a day as opposed to 3 full meals? Would it be like 6 juices a day, or like how much is too much?
What they're saying for you to do is you can have up to 96 ounces. So you can literally do like 32 ounce, another 32 ounce, and then another 32 ounce in the evening if you're doing all juices. And in between that, every time you feel hungry or thirsty, all you do is just drink water. Those herbal teas, water. You are hydrating your body, and you're going to be going to the bathroom. You're going to be urinating more. You're going to find that you're feeling good. So when you're starting out, they don't even want, there's some people who stay with that high amount, and there's some people who are fine, but they want to make sure that you are like, you want to make sure that you're staying hydrated. So it's really up to you based on what you're doing or your work or everything. You have to take all that into consideration, but hydrate yourself. Yes.
Thank you.
96 ounces. It's pretty good. Any more questions? You are welcome. Can you tell the name of, the name of my YouTube channel? I think if you look for Michelle Blackwood, you'll find me. I could drop the link. I'll go look for it and drop the link. Let me mute because it's gonna probably come on as there's a video that comes on.
This is Juliet, and I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Hi, Juliet.
Hi. I know that juicing could not, at times, do not taste good, depending on what you combine. So to me, that could be discouraging. So what are some of the fruits or vegetables you could combine that will give it a good taste?
Okay, so when it comes on to green juice, if you're doing green juice, are you a diabetic?
Yeah.
Okay, so for you, what I would do is I would do a combination of, I'll just start with like celery, cucumber. I will do green apple. That is a delicious tasting juice.
Okay, hang on for a second. Green apple, okay. And celery, okay. And cucumber?
And then what you could add a little ginger.
Okay.
If you like that little, and with a green apple. And
Okay.
to be honest, there are a lot of people when they're juicing, you'll find that people who juice, some of them, they will find that their body can handle. So you'll do testing. You test your blood glucose levels after you drink, because there are people who drink that and say, instead of, if they didn't like the taste with that one apple, green apple, they add another. And they find that it didn't spike their blood glucose levels. So it's all depend. Everybody, some people, they'll say the spike there. So then we'll say, okay, stick to the green ones. But I like the taste of that one, because you're more doing the cucumbers, which are hydrating, and the taste is not that green. And then you can slowly add maybe a cilantro, if you like cilantro, or a little parsley. And then you can slowly add maybe spinach, but you start off, because what you'll find will happen, it tastes bad at first. Not that one, but say the one that you're saying tastes bad at first, but as your body and your taste bud adjust, you will start, because you're trying to retrain your body not to go for sugar. Because if you've ever done any fast and you stop eating, cut out sugar, and I'm talking about refined sugar, and cut out that for a while from your body, or if you do any kind of fasting, when you do taste sugar again for the first time, it's super sweet. So that's telling me that sometimes our taste buds have to be retrained. So once you start doing those milder juices that are not super green tasting, then what you can do is slowly add the greens in, and then you'll find that you can still taste sweet to you. So everyone is different too, because some juices, people be like, oh, that is so not sweet, but another person will be like, whoa, that's too much. That's too much fruits. Cut back on the fruits. If you know what I mean.
Well, you said to add green vegetables. And when you said that, I was thinking of spinach.
Yes.
Then later on you said spinach. So what other green vegetables are you talking about?
Okay, so you're gonna we said cucumber, an apple with ginger. Then you could add spinach, and then you can add a little kale. Kale is kind of sometimes one of the stronger greens on the digestive system. So you will have to see if that works for you.
Okay.
If not, what you have is enough to still get your body healing. And so there are many greens out there. They're like, you can experiment with which greens that you like. There are some people will put even bok choy, and then some people will put a little Swiss chard. It's up to you. Remember, I said that the juice is going directly in the system, so it's not going through this long process of digestion where it's going to ferment and all that. So you drink it. And what I like to do is say, even put in mint leaves in it. You just experiment and see. Like, I love apple, mint, and ginger. That's a delicious drink. But like, yeah.
And thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Miss Juliet. Any more questions? Oh, what type of containers do you recommend to store the juices? I like to use a ball jar. Do you know the mason jars? Do you know the mason jars? And that's a good question. I like to use those. I can show you. Let me grab one quickly. So here you go. So I like mason jars with a cover, and I like to store them. They store like for 3 days in the refrigerator, and you literally just leave a little space from the top. And if you don't have a juicer, you can use a blender. All you'll have to do is strain your juice. You can use, like, some people use nut milk bags. Some people have those fine strainers. Some people use what we call like the curtain cloth material. And they just squeeze their juice. And if people are really, really sick, especially those who have chronic diseases or end stage or so on, sometimes they find that juicing really gets nutrients in their body. So it has its place. So thank you. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Any other questions that you want to ask? And how many of you have juice before? Let me know in the chat. How many of you have tried juicing? Okay, Okay, thank you for sharing that, Belinda. Chef Star 18-ounce clear glass. Oh, the water bottles too, yes. Those are good. So I like glass because plastics leach. So I prefer to use glass bottles because you're trying to detox your body. And then here you go with plastics. And plastic are they're hormone disruptors, especially for us as females. We're trying to reduce the amount of plastics that's going in our body. And so it would be good for us to use glass.
What? Yes, what did you say the best juicer is to use? The name of it?
Okay, so personally, I use a Nama J2 juicer. It is the higher price juicer. It's a masticating juicer. And I use that one because it's one of the best. But there are some similar on the market that's similar. You want one that's called a masticating juicer. Masticating.
A masticating juicer.
Yes.
Okay.
So
And where can that be? Where can I find that?
okay. So they're sold online. You can get them online, and you can check out the Nama too. That's online on namawell.com. Namawell.com.
On namawell.com.
Any more questions? Oh yes, so Sabrina says she's juiced. That's good. Alicia, she's juiced as well, very much. And Samantha Barkley says she's juiced. Awesome, wonderful, wonderful. And I know Belinda has juice, and I know that Sister Emily juices. So a lot of us have been juicing, and it's amazing. I don't know how. I'm like, why? I love juicing. And when I go to the supermarket now, I'm like, there's so much garbage in the supermarket, food that's not fit for human consumption. Like yesterday, I just walked down the cereal aisle and I wanted to just look at all the boxes that said made from bioengineered ingredients. And I said, how many people are buying these cereals that are using stuff from bioengineered ingredients? And I said, do people really know what that means? That they're literally crossbreeding stuff and putting it in the food. They're literally tampering with the DNA. And how would that not cause inflammation in the body? The body doesn't recognize a lot of the stuff as food. It's like you're literally eating non-food, and the amount of chemicals that they're putting in the food, the amount of stuff that they're putting in the food, that we really need to realize the time that we're living in and what we're up against. And I think that the foods cause our minds to be cloudy, cause us to be addicted, so we can't think clearly for ourselves. So when we start juicing, we are going to start, our minds will be clearer, and we're beginning to like dig deeper and start reading our labels more and start seeing that, wow, what am I feeding my kid? What's that red D, that and red? What's all that? What are those chemical ingredients? And when you dig deeper and say, you know what, recently I was dealing with someone and they had a package, and I said to them, we're going to go through each and every ingredient on the package. And I want for you to Google, where is this from? How is it made? What's the source? And 90% or 99% of it was non-food ingredients. It's all chemicals. And the person is not eating it anymore. And I said, just do that with your food labels. Find out every ingredient. Where is it coming from? Where is it sourced? And you'll be blown away with the foods that they're calling food that are not really foods. And they're literally, most of what they're putting in it is to just keep it on the shelf longer. So they're putting stuff in the food to keep it's not about you, it's how long can this stay on the shelf without going bad so that they can make more money off you. Okay. And many people aren't aware at all. Many people, they're not aware. And it's so sad because if we were to see where some of these stuff are coming from, a lot of them even are unclean stuff that you wouldn't even think of. The color, when you see a juice that's red, that's bottled, and that's bottled mean it's been pasteurized. So it's mean the enzymes are pretty much, most of it destroyed because it's heated. And when you see that on the shelf and it's red, more than likely it's a chemical red or a shellac or from a bog, a beta bog that they ground up to cause it to be red or a chemical. And people don't know. So we could go on, and I think my time is up. I think Sister Emmeline, I think she's busy. She's probably busy. But if there's any more questions, I would love to facilitate you guys. Any questions, go ahead and feel free to open your mic and ask, or leave it in the chat open for you.
Okay, this is Juliet again. All I have to say this time, this was very helpful. Thank you very much.
Praise the
I
Lord.
think you pushed me over on the edge to start juicing. I have thought about it before, but I never did.
Okay.
Emlyn is my sister, so she always tell me about juicing. But I don't think she was successful until I heard you. So you pushed me over the edge. So thank you.
Sometimes we do need to hear it outside of our family. Sometimes we do need, honestly, that's how it works at times. So I'm happy that I was able to help you make the decision. Yes, and just check your
I'd
blood.
like to say thank you.
Yes, thank you, Shirley.
I too would like to say thank you, because I have juiced on and off, and right now I'm having such horrible hip pains. I know a lot of it is arthritis, and so I'm going to. I've actually bought stuff, and I stay in the fridge until they spoil. But this time, because I'm actually having the pains and stuff, I'm definitely going to be picking this up as of tomorrow.
Yes, praise
So
the
thank
Lord.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes, Belinda found that on my website. I do have an article that was put together by my daughter, and she did all the budget friendly, every kind of juicer from the lowest budget to the highest. Thank you, Belinda, for getting that link. And yes, Miss Sherlyn, please do. When you think about it, we have, you know, for me, I could share with you so many things that I've been through, and one of them was pain. I've been there where I was in pain, and that was one of the worst feeling, to get up daily and be in pain. And my heart always goes out to people who have pain, and I realize we have to do something about it, and nobody else is not going to do it for you. You have to fight through it. To me, it's almost like the enemy doesn't want us to be healthy, because the enemy comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. But God has come to give us life, and to give us more abundantly. And if you remember, one of the things that God wishes, and if you read, I think it's Isaiah 53 verse 5, he wants us to be healed. He wants our bodies to be healed. And he says, the herbs are for the healing of the nation. And if you remember, when God gave us the first diet in Genesis 1 verse 29, he added, because after sin and separation from God, he gave us vegetables. So the vegetables, they're there for the healing of the nation. And if you notice, the ones that are really good at detoxifying the body and get deep down on, especially in the liver, which is our main organ of detoxification, are the bitter herbs. Your dandelion. Those are good. Anything bitter. You don't do the cerasee long term, but you can do the cerasee or the bitter melon a little bit, and you go off it. The moringa, those are very good for getting those stuff out the liver, and the parasites that plague a lot of people in their liver. A lot of people are walking around with liver flukes, literal parasites eating up their liver. And unless you get to the root cause and clean up your liver, which is what is going to eliminate all the toxins. So if it's overworked, we got to help it along. And we'll feel that a lot of other issues will go along, that we debilitating issues will go along with that. You think about your milk thistle, you know, all those are great for the liver. And if you want, just take berberine, check out berberine. I could go on and on. Those keep your blood sugar low. I'm drinking here this kidney wood tea. You can look that up. This one is great as well for lowering blood glucose levels. It detoxifies the body. It's great with AGE in the body, that like it's anti-aging. This one is great too. So there's just many stuff. The Bible said, he gave us everything that we need. Everything we need, we were given. And it's actually around us. And sometimes because we're not looking, because we're looking in those aisles in the supermarket. But the stuff, they're right around us. They're close to us. Sabrina, I'm sorry. Do you have a question, Sabrina? Go ahead. You're muted.
Yes. Yes, I do. So the times that I did juice, I actually enjoyed it. However, my doctor is not currently not 100% for me juicing at this moment. They're encouraging more protein right now. So and they are also not encouraging protein mix in the juices, because I thought, well, maybe I could do like, you know, smoothies and juices and put the powder in, but they don't really want me to do that in my current situation. So do you have any recommendations for how to get more protein in the juices?
Okay, my thing is, I don't know what your diagnosis is, but looking at you, I don't think you're suffering from malnutrition in the terms of you're lacking. You don't have kwashiorkor. You don't lack protein. I'm looking at you, I don't lack, but I don't know why the doctor would say you cannot juice because you lack protein. And remember, you don't necessarily have to juice all day long. Remember, the juice is going to flood your body with nutrients, and juices do have protein. Your green leafy root, there is some protein in it. It might not be the amount that your doctor wants, but that doesn't say you can't get it at another meal. Like, remember, you could eat a meal and you could juice as well. So I don't want to go against what your doctor is saying, but I'm just saying that a lot of doctors, they're not trained in nutrition. That's not their focus.
Yeah.
So, I respect the doctor because that's what they're there for. They serve a purpose. But I'm saying at the end of the day, you need to do your own research, because God is the greatest physician, and he is the one that will heal you when you pray to him and ask him diligently, what must I do?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good
Any more?
afternoon to everyone. This is Josephine. Emmeline and Dr. Sankey had to leave and asked me to wrap up. So,
Okay, thank you.
Michelle, could you please give us your last words?
Yes, so I think I said my last words. We have every tool that we need. And God has blessed us abundantly with his word, the scriptures. The help message is in it, and it is the right arm of the gospel. And God wants us really to truly learn more, study everything that you need. Just, you can Google. I mean, people always say there's enough information on Google too, and there are YouTube. I'm here for you. Belinda is here. If you can contact me, I'm Healthier Steps you can just look up my name, Michelle Blackwood, and you can contact me, or you can send me an email at healthiersteps@gmail.com. I want you to think about it this way. We have this body that God has blessed us with. We're living in it. And he said it is the temple that he dwells. So he wants us to take good care of it. And it doesn't matter now. We're going to forget about the past. We're going to forget how much abuse we've done in the past to it. But now when we come to truth, he wants for us to now dig deeper and go study more and put these principles that we're learning. I mean, we will hear a lot, but we've got to practice them, implement them, and just keep asking God to lead us, because he has all the answers that we need. Thank you so much again for blessing me and giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys. And I pray that you will enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'm out. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you.
Okay, we usually close out with prayer.
Okay.
I know we have requests, so I'll just do a general prayer and pray for those requests. Prayer requests. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity of learning, and you have given us wisdom so we can impart what we know to our brothers and sisters in our communities. We know, Lord, that this world is in turmoil, sickness and death plaguing our steps. And it's all because that we don't do what you say. Pain could be alleviated and healing come about if we follow your instructions. For those of us, Lord, who might have issues with our health, and we are seeking to know what to do. And today we have received lots and lots of information. We just have to put it into practice. For those of us who are waiting for healing, please encourage us and give us the strength to do what is needed. Grant us your peace and help us to know that you are with us. Continue to bless Michelle in her endeavors, and may we all, at the end of the day, meet together in heaven, where there will be no more sickness, no more death. We won't have to juice, because we'll have new bodies. We thank you and we praise you. Give us a good week ahead. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank
Bye.
you, everybody.
Bye.